Hey everybody, hope you're having a great day today. Before we get started with today's video, I want to thank everybody. We've hit 18,700 subscribers. I'm really pumped. The channel is growing at least 100 subscribers every day, so thank you so much for that. Also want to remind you that you can join the channel now. You can become a member for just 99 cents a month. January 1st, 2023, the MVP, VIP, and Pro will all disappear. Those levels will disappear and those perks will transfer to the eBuzz Central member for just 99 cents a month. Great way to support the channel and also a great way to support the content you like. Also, I would like to send a shout out to Elliot Dan Garoos and Stellar Orbit. Those are my two newest eBuzz Central members. Thank you guys so much for becoming members. And if I messed up your name, please let me know in the comments below. But thank you guys so much. Now, looking at my channel and looking at other YouTubers out there that cover Linux and Linux type software and hardware and things of that nature, I am one of the few that tries to put a video out every day. Sometimes I will revisit information, but what I'm doing today is I'm going to cover what I think are the three most underrated Linux distros that I've covered in 2022. All three of them are very easy to use. All three of them come with great support. They just don't get all the big play that you hear a lot of the other popular distros get. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to link the download for these in the description below. And I promise you, if you download one or all three, you're going to be very happy with them. So these are the three most underrated Linux distros I've covered in 2022. So what we're going to do today, guys, is we're going to take a look at a distro that I've had recommended many times in my comments. It's Big Linux. Now, if you zip on over to their website, which is biglinux.com.br, you'll come to this page right here. Now, Firefox automatically translated it for me, but I do know on a couple other browsers, if you don't have a translation add-on on your browser, it could be difficult to read. This one did it automatically, so if you're using Firefox, you shouldn't have a problem. I'm actually using FireDragon. But you come over to Big Linux's website, and it just basically states that this distribution is derived from Manjaro repositories. Now, this has went through several different facelifts over the last 2 or 3 years. It was based on different distributions, but now it is based on Manjaro. And when you go to download it, they actually give you 3 different options. You've got Big Linux that's got kernel 5.10. So if you've got some older hardware or you're trying to do some things in a more stable environment, that might be for you. They're recommended, which is kernel 5.15. And then they've got kernel 5.19. What I'm going to be taking a look at today is kernel 5.19. And we're going to go ahead and come down here. You can download it or get it through torrent. And then it breaks down your main programs: KDE Plasma, LibreOffice, GIMP, Firefox, and Brave. And then you've got some Ventoy download, Balena Etcher download, or UNetbooten download. They give you links to those right there. So if you want to burn it to a USB and boot into it, you can. And then down here on settings, it shows you the minimum requirement: 64-bit Intel or AMD, 2 gigabytes of RAM, 8 gigabytes of storage space, and then live USB mode. How to choose the Big Linux version you want to use, and then see how to save Big Linux on your USB stick using Ventoy. And then if you do go up top, you've got download support, photos, videos, news, others, contribute, and contact. That pretty much covers their website. I'll be sure to link that in the description below. So if you like what you see, you can go over, download it, and give it a try for yourself. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to close out of this, and we're going to open it up in boxes. Now, the reason I'm showing it actually loading up instead of me just plugging on over to the desktop is I want to show you some interesting and neat things that are coming with Big Linux that you don't get in other distributions, or you do get in some distributions, but not that many. You kind of get a choice of what layout you want. And it's got a good splash screen. It's got a good boot screen. And I'm only giving it 2 gigabytes of RAM, so it may take just a little bit to load up. It is what it is. Now, I do want to say that if you're using Manjaro, or you're wanting to get away from a different distribution or something like that and get into something a little bit more interesting with maybe a little bit more eye candy, that doesn't mean a lot to some people, but it does to others. Big Linux is actually a good-looking distribution. Now, one thing I do not like, and you'll see here in a second, is that you do get a certain setup that still includes the Latte dock. Now, with so many questions around the Latte dock right now, is it going to stay up? Is somebody else going to pick up the development of it? That right there kind of seems iffy to me. Maybe switch it over to Cairo, but that's just me. You might disagree with me. If you do, please let me know in the comments below. So once it finally boots up, you actually got to pick your language. I'm going to go ahead and pick English United States. And then it's going to let you choose a theme. Do you want to go with the Breeze, Breeze Dark, Fluent Solid Dark, or Fluent Solid? And then you've got Fluent, Fluent Dark, Materia, and Materia Dark. I'm going to go ahead and just stick with Breeze Dark. And then right over here, you get to actually pick the way your desktop's laid out. You've got the classic look, your classic KDE. Then you've got kind of a K-Unity, which is a take on the Unity from Ubuntu years ago. Then you've got a new layout. You've got the next G. And we're going to scroll down. You've got a modern. And then you've got Desk X. Now you can change these once you're on desktop. In virtual machine, they're kind of laggy. I'll show you that anyway. But just know that if you put it on a USB or you're running it on bare metal, it'll run a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and just go with Next G. And we will go ahead and let that boot up and show us what we're getting. I like the splash screen. I like the background. I like the way they integrate the big logo into the center of the background. I like the overall look of this distribution. But what we are going to need to do is we're going to need to zip on over here, and we're going to need to adjust the actual resolution of the distro so we can actually see what's going on. So I'm going to go down here and go ahead and click on Big and look for Settings. And we will go ahead and go to, see if that's Manjaro Setting Manager, if that'll let us take care of what we need to. There's hardware, time and date. Let's close. I just need regular old settings. So where's just regular old settings? Settings. System settings. There it was. Why didn't you guys point that out to me? I guess I need to put my glasses on so I can see what's going on. Let's go ahead and go to Display. And there's the display configuration. Let's go ahead and click that open. And let's go ahead and change that to 1080. Let's go ahead and apply that. And there it is right there. Let's go ahead and keep that. Zip that over there and close out of that. As you can see right here, you kind of get a nice little dock down here. And like I said, I've only got 2 gigabytes of RAM issued to this in GNOME boxes. So it might be a little jerky and jumpy, but if you put it on a USB or you're running on bare hardware, it's going to be a lot faster. So what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to go ahead and open up Dolphin. And yes, you get the global menu up here, and then you've got Dolphin right here. And like I said, it's got the wobbly windows with only 2 gigabytes of RAM. It's a little jerky. Let's go ahead and look at something right now. Let's see what we're running system-wide. Let's see, where's it at? KSysGuard. Let's go ahead and see what kind of resources we're using on this one. System load. We're running about 0.75 gigabytes. That's not too bad. With Dolphin open, and we're running, obviously this is Latte. Let's go up here and right click. Yeah, see, that's the Latte dock. So you do have the Latte dock running in the background, and you're only using about 0.75 gigabytes of 2 gigabytes that I have issued to the machine. Now, what I'm going to say here is, with Latte dock running, compared to Garuda, because I had to reinstall Garuda because y'all are familiar with the problems that I had with Nobara. But I reinstalled Garuda, and Garuda, when it had Latte dock running in the background, was at about 1.2, 1.3 gigabytes. And when I got rid of Latte, it actually dropped down to 0.75. So right here with Latte dock running in the background, you've got 0.75. So that's not too bad right there on resource usage. And we're only using about 1% of the CPU. Now the wobbly windows will probably make that spike up a little bit, but not too bad. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that and close out of that. And we'll kind of take a look around here. You can just see you've got the control center over here. This is what I want to point out to you, because you can go to the control center, and when it pops up, you've got a lot of different things you can do over here. You've got themes, desktop, and settings, restore the program configuration, system and hardware information. So if you wanted to change your theme, you could come right over here and go to open, and it's going to give you the same options you got at boot. Now I'm going to leave the theme where it is. You can go to desktop. That's the classic KDE look, and then you've got the K-Unity. Then you've got the Next G. Then you've got the new. I'm going to try modern and see what happens here. And that popped up. I actually kind of like that better than the dock. I think I'll leave that right there because I'm not a big fan of the global menu. Scratch that. I do like the global menu when there's a distribution that already has a top panel, but I'm not a big fan of the top panel. So if I can get away from that, I generally do. So I think I will leave this right here. But you can see over here, you can change your desktops. You've got 6 different choices there. You've got different themes you can change it to. And you could also probably install some other themes. So that's pretty neat. I like that. It comes out of the box with that. So that's pretty impressive. Let's go ahead and close out of that. And then you've got your network and internet. Connect to the internet. Connect to internet using Android. Integration with Google Drive and OwnCloud. Customize. Application style. So this is kind of a system settings, but it's been barred down into their control center with their choices and things that you can change there. Now, it's got a little moon down here. If you click on that, okay, so you can switch. I like that. You can switch it from a light to dark with one click. Okay, let's go over here. You've got region and language, multimedia, audio mixer, equalizer, sound and microphone, Helvam, accounts, privacy. Let's go look at about. That's what I wanted to look about. Let's see. Let's go to Info Center. Let's pull that up. And what are we looking at right here? You've got KDE Plasma 5.2, Frameworks 5.97, Qt version 5.15, and then you've got kernel version 5.19.7 Manjaro. So if you're somebody that likes Manjaro, but you're wanting to change a pace, this is definitely the distribution for you. And if you're somebody that is wanting to go to an Arch-based system with a little bit more control over looks and things that you can do with it, you might want to choose this one over Manjaro. Now, what I would worry about is if Big Linux suffers from some of the problems that you get with a Manjaro distribution when there's updates. Sometimes you have some issues there. I don't know if those carry over, but it would take a little bit of using. And this might go on my list, guys. I was considering going with OpenSUSE after my Nabara fiasco, and I might end up giving this one a shot. I don't know yet, but we will see. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. And then you've got privacy, server, devices, system, development. You've got a nice little control panel here. I really do like that. Now, what I want to know is if they're piggybacking off of Manjaro, does that mean they have PayMac? So let's add and remove web apps, add and remove software. Let's go look at that first. So let's go ahead and open that up. And you're running basically PayMac. So what you want to do is go over here first. And I want to see if they have the AUR. Okay, they do have AUR. You can enable it. Okay, it's already enabled out of the box. Okay, guys, so AUR is enabled out of the box. And you also have Flatpak enabled out of the box. So if we go to General, can you go ahead and you can use mirrors from worldwide. You can actually refresh those mirrors. Okay, well, let me close out of that. So if we do a search, can we do a search for something like OBS Studio? There's OBS Studio. Let's go ahead and click on that, and it's right there. Now, that's one thing I do like about this is there have been many different Arch distributions that use PayMac that when I run them in a live environment, you can't actually look up software because it actually has to update and then install a bunch of other data and dependencies before you can even do searches for software. So I like that. Let's see, do they have GIMP? They do have GIMP. It's right there. You click on it and it pops right up. So you're going to be using PayMac and the AUR to install software. So that's definitely a plus. Let's go ahead and close out of that. Now let's go back over here, and it looked like it had add and remove web apps. No web app added. So if we added a web app, so what could we call it? So let's just say youtube.com. Let's name it YouTube. Let's go ahead and detect name and icon. So it'll detect the name YouTube web app icon. It automatically gave it to you. And can we go ahead, YouTube TV mode? I don't want to do that. Let's go ahead and add it. The web app has been successfully added, so we can close out of that. Now, is this added to our regular menu, or is it just... Okay, so it's added right there. So if I click on that, and there is our YouTube app. Okay, so it's using Brave browser to open up our web app, YouTube app. We'll go ahead and maximize that. And like I said, there's going to be a little stutter there. I've only got 2 gigabytes of RAM issued to the machine. So you're going to have a little bit of that. I would really like to run this in a live mode. This might be the next distro I try to run as a daily driver. I'm going to be quite honest. And my question, let's go over here. Let's close out of that. Now, if I go over here and I put in YouTube, can we right click and pin that? Or let's open it back up. Okay, pop right back up. Now, can I right click and pin that to Task Manager and then close? So there's my YouTube web app. It's right there on my panel. So this is Big Linux Web Apps Manager. So if you somebody that's used Linux Mint and you're used to their web app application that they have, this is something that's along those lines, and it's just bringing it over to an Arch distro that's based on Manjaro. So I kind of like that application. That's pretty impressive. So we'll close out of that. Let's go ahead and open this back up, and then you've got games, graphics. Okay. So my question, can you change Edit Big Linux Application Launcher? Okay, that's just to change the logo or the icon, I'm sorry. Okay, so there's no changing your menu. I guess that would be different on different desktop themes that you picked. Configure your desktop and wallpaper. Let's see what kind of wallpapers we got involved here. Oh, they got some pretty wallpapers. Let's see, let's try the Antelope Canyon. I like that. That's neat. Guys, I'm pretty impressed. Big Linux, everybody that chimed in on my comments and told me to take a look at it, thank you, because it is definitely a decent looking distribution, and it might be something that I take a look at, maybe even test drive for 90 days. Today we're going to take a look at Modicia OS. I took a look at this operating system about 6 months ago and was thoroughly impressed. It is probably one of the most complete operating systems out of the box that I have ever had the chance to actually use. Now, if you want to go over their website, it's modiciaos.cloud, and I'll be sure to include that link in the description below, so if you like what you see, you can zip over and download it yourself. And when you come to their website, they have a really beautiful website, and they offer 3 different versions of this operating system. Now, Modicia OS is based on Xubuntu, and you can get it in 3 different flavors, which is Ultimate, Enterprise, and Education. In Ultimate, you get a specific set of applications. LibreOffice, Master PDF, Office 365. It's like a web app that you can use directly on the desktop. GIMP Shop, Raw Therapy, MyPaint, Knation. And then on Enterprise, you get things like rsync, Samba, FileZilla, Master PDF, Wine. And then on Education, you get a lot of K programs, K Geography, K Word Quiz, K Stars. You got GNOME Paint, Canagram, G Compress. And then if you come down a little bit, it's got a couple different reviews, and they actually still have my review from 6 months ago on their website. Now, the main features of Ultimate, Enterprise, and Sound, there are 7 specific main features to each distribution. The first feature is Turbo Boost processors are active by default. So if you have a processor that supports Turbo Boost, it's activated by default. You don't have to worry about it. Number 2, swappiness is reduced to 10%, and programs are faster than 25%, and consequently also increases the life of your SSD. Data in RAM memory is compressed with a speed reading and write of 20%. Wine, Samba, rsync is already configured, and they're active out of the box. Number 4, if you press Alt and Spacebar, the launcher application menu will appear. Number 5, all programs have various language and dictionaries available already installed out of the box. So what that means is you're going to have a lot of European languages already there, and American English is already there. Number 6, from the context menu, wherever you are, you can activate the Windows expose. And then number 7, you can quickly start displaying desktops, windows, application menus with the super key, which is either Windows or the Mac key. Scroll down a little bit more, and they give you a little bit of information. Their education version right now is currently installed in over 12 schools and institutes, and it has a user base of 1,700 students every day. You will find useful and tested applications, tools complete with plugins, and they're already pre-configured. And down here, it's got a list of some of the schools. And then you've got Modicia OS Sound for audio production. Comes with Wine config, Wine tricks, Jack audio, video clip. When you come over to their website, this breaks it all down for you, and it's easy to see that this distribution is a very complete distribution. And then down here, you've got user manuals. English, Spanish, Italian, Dutch, French. I'm not sure what PT is. and what professional use. Use every day in offices, graphic studios, and schools. They got right here, you got company software development, ISMA primary and secondary and tertiary schools, and MH professional photo video productions. And then you can download it down here. Now I do want to show you this because I've had people in the past that have watched the previous video and said, it's great, you can go to their site, but it takes you directly to a donate button and doesn't let you download it. Let's go ahead and cover that. You come down here, you've got the Community Edition, the Enterprise Edition, or the Pro Edition. Now the Community Edition comes with the Ultimate ISO, server link, installable system. It doesn't come with free support. Now if you go over to the Enterprise, you get email support 24/7, development team, in one email support, troubleshooting, and advice configuration. And then on the Pro Assistant, you get that coverage for a full year. And that's a paid version, but you don't have to pay for it here. So to download it, all you got to do is click free, start, and it brings you to this screen right here. And everybody gets to this screen and says, it just doesn't work, I can't download it. Go to Community, click Community, and it'll bring you over here, and they say they want my money but they won't let me download it. See this right here, Modicia OS Ultimate 22.4.8. click it, come right here, click download. This page will pop up, close it, and it started downloading in the background. That's as easy as I can make it. Now let's go back to their homepage. Like I said, I will include the link in the description below, so that way if you're interested in taking a peek at it, you can zip on over and download it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to actually fire it up in a virtual machine and take a look at it. Now if you download Modicia OS, throw it on a USB, or put it into a virtual machine and boot into it, this is the screen you're met with. Now if you notice, you have a panel up top. You've got access to your desktop, files, documents, music, pictures, and videos. And then over here, you have power button, to date and time, sound, battery charge, notifications, and then of course your internet. And then if you come down here, you've got a dock-like interface that lets you get to anything that you want to put on it. You can pin different things down here so they're quick to access. And then up here you've got just a little conky that lets you know what CPU usage is and what your RAM is. Now you notice it comes with just a plain wallpaper out of the box. So what we're going to do is right click. We're going to come down to desktop settings. And what I want to do real quick is pick a background. Let's go with something like that and close. And there's a darker background and it makes everything pop just a little bit more. Like I said, this is based on Ubuntu. Now you've got different things you can do down here. What I like doing right off the bat with this is the app expose. I want to move this over by my expose. Now to get to your different desktops and things like that, you just click on expose and it brings your desktops up over here. You've got 3 of them. Or you can also do a search up here for specific application. Let's put in disk, and there you have disk usage analyzer, disks, G-Smart control, install. So let's go ahead and open up disks, and it'll open up right here and you're good to go. Now you also have the availability that if you're not in expose, you can go to an app expose right here, and there's all your apps that are presently installed on this system. Now I want to touch base on something right here because I'm going to have a lot of people in comments, or I might not. I may not have to deal with a lot of trolls in this situation. I'm going to have some people in the comments get on the comments and go, this is ridiculous. This operating system is a bloated mess. Why are you going to have all of these applications in there? Blah, blah, blah. That's what's going to say. Bloat, bloat, bloat. Let me go ahead and clear something up in my point of view. My point of view is if you're talking about bloat, let's look at Windows 11. What I call bloat on Windows 11 are applications that are not useful to me. Candy Crush, games, any crap like that. What I like in this operating system is every application on here is something that is useful, something that can be used. It's not a waste of space. It's not something that's asking for me to spend more money on it. It's not a game. It is an application that can be utilized and used. So in my opinion, it is not bloat. It is a tool that I can use to complete what I want to do. Now, if you disagree with me, I'm sure you're going to let me know in the comments, but this operating system comes packed with a lot of useful tools, and it's not bloat. That's my opinion. Now we're going to come back down to the bottom. You've got screenshot right here. You just click on it and it would take a screenshot, of course. Then you've got your file manager, which everybody knows if you're dealing with Ubuntu, you're going to have Thunar File Manager. Now what you do notice is when you go full screen, you do have a global menu up here. You've got File, Edit, View, Go, Help. You've got your usual suspects over here, and then you've got your home folders right here. Now what I like about Thunar, it's not as feature packed as some other file managers out there, but it lets you get your job done and just basically stays out of the way. That's what a file manager is supposed to do, and I think it does a fine job at it. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. And as you can see, when you close, the global menu goes away and you got your desktop files, documents, and music pops right back up. I love the smoothness of this operating system. It really is very responsive, and you can tell that it's been worked on for years. Now, if we come back down here, you've got USB stick formatter. If you need to format a USB stick, you've got that tool right there on your dock. And then you've got System Monitor. Now, what you're going to notice with System Monitor is when you pull it up, especially if you've got it in a virtual machine, it's going to tell you right over here that it's using 1.5 gigabytes, but it's really not. There's some of this operating system that runs in RAM. So that's why I really like having Stacer on here, because when you open that up, it's going to give you a true readout of what you're actually using in RAM to run the operating system. And right now you're sitting at about 950, 985. It's climbing a little bit, but it should hover around 1.1, and that's about right. You're using about 1.1 to 1.2 gigs to run this system in virtual, so we're going to go ahead and quit out of that. And then you've got LAN share down here. If you open LAN share up, that's a way for you to share things between different systems on the same network. It comes in real handy. I've used this before. It's really nice. But this comes out of the box. This comes included with the Modicia operating system. And then you come back down, you've got Cheese, you've got your web browser. Let's go ahead and open that up. I didn't even see if this had Firefox installed. Okay, and we open it up, and it looks as though this is Google Chrome. So the web browser out of the box is Google Chrome. Now, first thing I want to do, let's see if it's ready to go. eBuzz. I want to go ahead and look up eBuzz Central and see if that pulls it up, and it does right there. Now my question is does this have an alternative browser? Let's go ahead and close out of this, because I do know there will be people out there that are happy that it does come with Chrome, but most of us in the open source community won't be. So let's go to App Expose and look up Firefox. It doesn't come with Firefox, so let's put in browser. So the only browser you're getting out of the box is Google Chrome, but we'll go over installing software here in a little bit, and I'll show you how you can get rid of Chrome and put Firefox on it. And then we can come back down here. You've got Mail Reader, XNView Multi-Platform, VLC Media Player, Audacious, LibreOffice, and then of course you've got Trash. And now what I want to do is go up here, and I want to look at settings. So you've got Expose, you've got rsync, real-time kernel for multimedia, system monitor, time shift. That's going to come in handy. Time shift, if you need to make a backup or a snapshot of your system, zip on over to time shift and you can make a snapshot of your system. So that way, should you have any problems, you can always go back to a time that you had a system that was fully operational. So what I'm going to do is just right click down here, System Monitor, Calculator, Translate, Desktop Settings, Applications, Settings Manager. Let's open that up. And what I want to see right off the bat is you've got Appearance Panel. So I just hit Update the Kernel. It's based on Ubuntu. So I'm going to say we're probably using long-term support kernel. But there's your settings and everything that you have right there. Now I do want to go and see exactly how we install software. So we've got accessories. Let's just go up here and type software. There's software updater, app grid. Let's go ahead and open that up. So you can look at different apps here, I guess. PDF chain. Can you do a search? Can we look for something like OBS Studio? And would that work? There's OBS Studio, so let's click right there. We're not able to show any reviews at this moment, so you could just install from right there. So that's pretty impressive. So let's go ahead and close out of that. And I do believe you have Synaptic Package Manager on here as well. So we'll go to Software, and there's Synaptic Package Manager right there. As most of you know, if you watch any of my videos, I love Synaptic Package Manager. And if you haven't seen it before, it's one of those that it's really just a type, search, install type package manager. So you'd come over here, let's put in something like OBS Studio, and we do a search on it. and it pops up right here. You just click right there, mark for installation. It'll show you all the dependencies that you have down here. Mark those dependencies and then come up here and apply, and you would install OBS Studio on your system. Now, what you could do before you applied is go over here and look for different applications. You could look for something like Shotcut and do a search for it, and there's Shotcut right there. You can go ahead and mark it for installation, and then you got Shotcut marked, you've got OBS Studio marked, and basically you could fill this up with applications that you wanted to install. Once you got them all selected, come up there, click apply, and it would install all of them at the same time. So that makes things rather easy. Now, is it easy to just put applications on the launcher? What if we come up here? What if we wanted to add that? Can you right click it, add to panel, or is it already there? No, it's not there. Would you add it to favorites? No. Or do you just drop and drag? And can you drag? Okay, you can just drop and drag it to add it to dock. Okay, that's pretty simple. That's pretty easy. So let's come back down here. I'm going to go ahead and open up App Expose, and we're just going to kind of cover over some of the applications that you have pre-installed. You've got Airmore, Animated GIF, Audacity, Audacious, Convert All, Clipboard Manager, Blue Griffin, Blender, BleachBit, Evolution Mail, Expose, G-Labels, Fonts, Google Chrome, Laptop Mode, LibreOffice Suite, your Microsoft Excel, Microsoft OneDrive, PowerPoint, and Word. These are web apps, Natron, Notes, Plank Bar settings, and you can come down a little bit more. You got WhatsApp, VLC. You've got a ton of applications installed out of the box, and there's Qubit Torrent for your torrent downloads. If you all want a complete operating system, which basically means you download it, you throw it on a USB, you install it, or you download it, open up in a virtual machine, and you're pretty much ready to go with your daily routine or your daily work, Modicia OS is solid. Modicia OS is probably one of the most complete operating systems I've ever looked at. I say, and this is my opinion because I'll have people that come in my comments and beat me up, it is more feature-rich and better looking than Linux Mint. It's got the same base that Linux Mint has. It's based on Ubuntu. This is based on Xbuntu. It's there. The foundation is there. And on top of that, Modicia is already being used in government offices and in schools. I really think if you want something that's complete and you want something that's beautiful, because right now, I really think this right here, the way it sets, looks much better than Mac OS. I like the smaller icons down here. Mac OS is huge. I think it's easier to install applications on here than it is on Mac OS. Yes, Mac OS is number one in a lot of other areas, but if you're leaving Windows or you're leaving Mac, this is definitely an OS I would suggest you take a look at. Now, the distro that we're looking at today is Makulu Shift, which comes with 8 different layouts pre-installed. Now, if you do decide to donate or support the project like they ask you to, you can get an additional 8, which gives you a total of 16 different layouts. That's up to you. Remember, donating is up to you. If you like the project, you can donate to it. And then you can come down a little bit. It's got download links. It shows you that they got a Makulu Linux Droid download. And then you've also got download links for that. And then you can come back down to the bottom and you can connect with him on all of social and Discord and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll up to the top. I'll be sure to include the link to this webpage in the description below so you can go over and get more information if you would like. But right now what I want to do is generally I go directly to the desktop, but Makulu Linux has done something really great. Before you even start the distribution, if you open it up in a live environment or in a virtual machine, it actually gives you a little intro, and it's probably one of the best little intros I've ever seen for a Linux distribution. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys that. So what we're going to do now is get to that intro and then get to the desktop. Okay, so that was the intro. Pretty impressive, wasn't it? I like that. I like when people and developers take time to put the effort into making their distributions a lot more polished in the way they're presented, in the way they look. Some of you out there probably don't care about that as much, but there are those of us out there that do. Now, when it finally gets to the desktop, you're introduced to the layout manager right off the bat. You can change everything here. You can change the overall look of the desktop. Then you can also adjust your desktop clock, panel and dock options, theme manager, wallpaper manager. Now, the first thing I want to do is kind of show you how easy it is to change your layout. Now, Makulu Shift is based on Ubuntu. So you're going to have the underlying structure of Ubuntu plus the software that you can use on Ubuntu. So it's based on a solid core. So that's something you don't have to worry about, especially if you're somebody that's new or if you're somebody that's presently using an Ubuntu-based operating system or Ubuntu itself. So Linux Mint, Ubuntu, things like that. So what I'm going to do right off the bat is we're going to go up here and you've got Windows, Flash, Core, Dash, Plasma, GNOME, Unity, and Simple. Right now, based on the wallpaper, we're on Simple. So I'm going to go ahead and go up to Windows and I'm just going to click on it. And as you can see, it changes everything over. You get a different look, you get different icons, you get a different wallpaper. And then if you come down here, you can go ahead and click on that. There is your application menu. You've got accessories, graphics, internet, office, and I like how you've got some transparency here. So it's not just throwing something on there to be different. It actually makes each different desktop unique and it makes it look good. I do like the transparencies. I do like the wallpaper. And then if you come down here, you've got your panels down here that's got all your information on it. And then you've got your pinned applications right here. So what we're going to do real quick, let's switch on over to Flash. So we'll go ahead and click on it. And it switches pretty quickly, actually. You get your new wallpaper. You get an overall different look on your bottom panel. I love the way this bottom panel looks. It almost looks like it starts lighter at the bottom and then fades towards the top. Just maybe an optical illusion, but I do like that. You have your pinned applications down here. And as you can tell, the icons have changed. Okay. And then you can go over here and you can click on the application menu and you get a different menu. And as you can see, all your applications are over here. You still have a little bit of the transparency in the background, but I do like the way this looks. I lean more towards darker themes. So that's just something a little different for me. So what I'm going to do real quick is we're going to go up here and we're going to go ahead and click on the core layout. And that switches over to the core layout. And as you can see, your cursor changes. You have a spinning cursor now. And then if you move this out of the way, you can see it's got a beautiful wallpaper. You've got more of a dock-like experience right here. You've got your menu manager showing open up here. And then I believe you can open all your applications from right here if you want it that way. I do like that. And then if you come down here, you've got show applications, trash, menu manager, play on Linux, Google Chrome, file manager. If you wanted to, if I move this over, you could actually include the pie menu. So let's go ahead and click on that. And as you can see, the pie menu comes up right here. You've got utilities, sound and audio, and you can grab it in the dark area and drag it out of the way if you want, or you can just get rid of it. But it's always going to pop up in the center, and you can make it bigger if you would like. Now, this is something right here that if you do decide to download Makulu Shift, I would play around with a little bit. It's really fun, the different things you can do with it, and you can really just adjust it to where you want it and make it really work the way you want it to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring the layout manager back over, and I'm going to go ahead and go to the dash layout. And I do really like this one because I do like the left side of the screen vertical panel. I would probably move it to the right because I'm right-handed, but it'd make it easier for me, but we're not going to pick at it that much. But you can see the panels over here now. You get a brand new background. And then if you come down here, you can open your applications down here and you get more of a whole screen, just one big slide down for all your programs. And then you got accessories, graphics, internet, office, sound. So everything's laid out over here. You still retain the transparency, which I really like. I think that makes it look really good. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. I'm going to go ahead and bring this back down. Now we've opened the video with Simple. So we're going to go ahead and switch over to Unity. And when Unity pops up, as you can see right over here, you get that old school feel that you used to get with Ubuntu Unity. And you got all your applications right here. You got your single panel up top. So I'm going to go ahead and switch on over to GNOME. And as you can see, GNOME pops up. You've got a single panel at the bottom, so you're going to have more of an old GNOME feel to it. And when you open up your application menu, you're going to get the full screen right here. You can scroll through all your applications if you would like. And I'm going to go ahead and close that. And we're going to take a look at Plasma. And Plasma pops up, and as you can see, your cursor has changed again. I don't think I'm a big fan of the big cursor, but you can adjust that. All you got to do is come down here. You can go to Theme Manager. You can go up here and say you wanted the just regular KDE cursor. Just click on it, close out of that, and you've got your old KDE cursor. So don't worry about that. I've had people in the past, especially about 6 months ago when I covered this distribution, that said the icons are ugly, and I was like, just go down here and change them. You have that power. But this is the Plasma desktop, and you got your panel down here. You go over here and you click on your applications, and you've got your basic KDE applications menu. But that covers the 8 layouts that come with it out of the box. Now, if you do want to donate to the project, you do get an additional 8 desktop layouts. I'm not sure what those are. I will take a look at that and get back with you in a follow-up video. Now what I want to do is just go back to simple, because that's what we opened this video up with. Now we are back to the simple desktop. I want to go ahead to the theme manager, and I want to switch my cursor over. So there it is right there. And while I'm here, I want to show you guys something real quick. If you look over here, you can see that you've got a color to your folders, which is basically a theme for your system. Now, if you come down here to these colors, you can change that. So let's say you wanted to go with yellow. Just click on yellow, and it will switch over to yellow. If you wanted to go to red, just click on red, or purple, or any other color that you might want to choose down here. Now, the only thing I think I would ask them to do in the future, which I think they would be working on, because they've come leaps and bounds from where this project was about 6 months ago, is probably give us the option of in here just choosing the color we want to add. So maybe that's something they can do in the future. I don't know. We'll find out. So we can go ahead and close out of that. Then you've got Theme Manager we just looked at, and then your Wallpaper Manager. You can select a wallpaper right here if you would like, if you want to do something different than what comes with it out of the box. And it has a choice of beautiful wallpapers for each different desktop layout. And as you can see, some of these go with specific layouts, but you can use them across any one that you want to choose. I'm going to go ahead and pick that one right there because I think that's a good looking one. And then, of course, you've got the Darth Vader Osaka background. I think I'm going to stick with that one. I like that. Now, one of the things I do like about Makulu Linux is out of the box, you're going to have Proton and Steam installed. Plus, it's going to come with Wine and things like that. So if you go over to Accessories, Internet, Office, you've got Menu Editor, you've got Play on Linux, you got Warpinator, Wine Tricks is already installed, Graphics, Internet, you've got Google Chrome. I don't really agree with that. But if you want to put something other than Google Chrome on here, it's real simple. You just uninstall Google Chrome and then go over to the Software Center and download something new, which I'm going to show you here shortly. Then you've got Office, Sound and Video, you got MPB Player, Pulse Audio Control, VLC Media Player. System Tools, you got BleachBit, GW Package Manager. Now, if you're somebody that downloads deb packages off the internet, you can do that, download them. All you got to do is once they're in the download folders, right-click, install with GW. It will open it up in this package installer and install it on your system for you. Let's go back over here to System Tools. There's where we were at. You do have HTOP. Now, let's go ahead and open up HTOP because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that will want to know what kind of resources we are using. And as you can see, I've got about 2.9 gigabytes issued to this machine of RAM, and we're using about a gig at rest with just the terminal open. Now my comments are going to blow up. My God, this is heavy. Really, it's not. If you're presently running something like a Linux Mint or an Ubuntu, you're going to be running about the same. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. You're going to have some systems that people want to run at 200 or 300 megabytes. And then you're going to have some systems that people want to customize or make look good that are going to run anywhere from 800 megs to 1.2 gigs. Just depends on what you like to live with. Look, at the end of the day, you're still using less RAM than what it takes to be open in Windows just for a desktop. That's about 2.7 gigabytes. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of the terminal, come back over here to System Tools. You can scroll down. You've got a Grub Customizer. You've got your main menu. You've got a menu editor, Pie menu, Power Statistics, Samba, Software Updater, Startup Applications. Then you do have Synaptic Package Manager. Now, I truly love Synaptic. It's real easy to use. Let's go ahead and close out of that. And I'm going to go ahead and full screen it so everybody can see. And then if you wanted to do a search for something, just come up here, do a search, type it in real quick right here. Close out of that, it'll pop up here, select it and install it. I've covered Synaptic plenty of times in the past, but if you have any questions on how to use Synaptic, please drop those in the comments below. Let's go ahead and close out of that. Come back up to System Tools. You also have Time Shift. Time Shift is very, very important to use, especially if you're somebody that makes a lot of changes to your system. All you got to do is open it up. And if you are running the BTRFS file system, all you have to do is come down here and click on that. If you're running anything else, just leave it on rsync, click next. What you'll have listed right here, I'm in a virtual machine, so it won't list, but it'll show the hard drive that your system is installed on. You just click on it, click next. It'll say take a snapshot. You take your snapshot. It takes all of about 10 seconds. And then that way, should you have a problem in the future, you can always come back into Time Shift, click on that snapshot, restore your PC back to where it was in a stable state. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Let's come back up here to the System Tools, VLC Media Player, Wine Tricks, Universal Access, Utilities. And then if we come down here, you've got your File Manager. Let's go ahead and open that up. And I do like the look of the File Manager. It's clean, it's simple, it's something that's easy to use. You got your usual suspects over here. You got your home folders right here. And one thing you will notice, if you right click, open up your Theme Manager. And let's move this over. If you wanted to change your folders, they change on the home screen and they change in your file manager. So let's go ahead and open this back up here. And like I said, it's light, it stays out of your way. And this is Nemo 5.2.4. So those of you that are familiar with using Ubuntu-based systems are probably really familiar with Nemo. So let's go and minimize that and close it. And then we're going to open up the Software Center. It'll take a second to populate, so we will give it that time. And once it has populated, let's go ahead and maximize this so everybody can see it. And we open it up. You've got your editor's picks, your recent releases, recommended audio and video. If you've used Ubuntu before, you're going to be familiar with the layout here. Plus, you've got installed updates that are due. And, you know, all you got to do is pick one. Let's pick MailSpring. And I know for a fact, I don't believe MailSpring is on the official repository. So if we come down here, it is using Snapcraft. So you'll be able to download something like MailSpring. And then if you go to Inkscape, scroll down, it's using Snaps as well. So that's pretty much where we're at. And if we go to sources, does it let us change? There is a FlatHub version. Okay, so I don't want to confuse y'all. You got Inkscape. You can download it for Snap, but it's also available in the FlatHub. It's also available from official repositories, Debian repositories. And then you have the Snap stores 3 times. Latest stable. So you've got different ways to install certain applications. Like I know for a fact, if we go back over to MailSpring, that if we come up here, it's in the Snap store only. That's what I thought, because it's not available in the official repositories. So you'll be able to install it by official repository, Snaps, Flatpaks, whatever one you actually use and like to use. So that makes it pretty nice. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. And that pretty much covers the look at Makulu Shift. What do you think? Is this something you might download and take for a test drive? Let me know in the comments below. Please do me a favor before you leave today. Please like, subscribe, or follow my channel. The more likes I get keeps me in YouTube's algorithm, which means the information you just saw in this video, if it was helpful to you, it can be helpful to somebody else. And subscribe. Doesn't cost anything. And if you end up not liking me, you can always unsubscribe. If you like the channel and enjoy the videos that we are producing, we are on 3 separate platforms, YouTube, Utreon, and Odyssey. And you can become members on all 3. On YouTube, it's only 99 cents. On Utreon, it's $2.99. And on Odyssey, it's $4. You can also buy us a cup of coffee, maybe go over to PayPal and throw us a donation, or go to Patreon and become a patron to the channel. All those links will be in the description below. As always, thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you in the next video.